بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. War does not determine who's right but who's left. At the end of the day, who survives. So while you got an opportunity, plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. So we are encouraged to prepare, to take advantage at the time of ease, to prepare for the moment of difficulty. So that's the mizaj of deen. We are going in qabr, we are going in akhirah, we are told to prepare. Likewise, the people of Iman in this dunya for situations of life, whether it's safety, whether it's security, whether it's your preservation, steps needs to be implemented to make sure that there are no consequences. To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. So, to prepare, a person needs to take adequate steps to make sure they tie the camel. In the midst of chaos, there's also opportunity. In the midst of chaos, there's also opportunity. So, a person who prepares before the chaos will see the opportunity. Riwayat of Muslim, Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, المؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف. A believer who is strong, who is fit, who is healthy, is better and most beloved to Allah than a weak believer. وَفِي كُلٍّ خَيْرٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept goodness. So, a believer is good, but a strong believer is more beloved. وَفِي كُلٍّ خَيْرٌ. In both of them, a strong believer and a weak believer, there is goodness. But أحب, one is more beloved. احرص على ما ينفعك. Be keen, be avaricious on what will benefit you. So every situation, every conflict, forecasted or non-forecasted, deen or dunya or akhirat, ihris ala ma yanfa'uk. Consider yourself, consider your family, consider your locality, consider ummah. Be desirous of what will be beneficial. Wasta'in billah. And you're not on your own. You have Allah, so seek Allah. So physical preparation, spiritual preparation. Wala ta'jaz. And don't give up, don't be helpless. So these are hidayat, these are guidance. And ulama have written, the commentators, هي القوة في كل أمر من أمور الدين والدنيا. A strong believer is a believer in every affair, whether it's his deen or dunya. فالقوة في هذا الحديث تعني قوة الإيمان. The meaning of strength in this hadith is the strength of iman, والطاعة, obedience, والعبادة, worship, والعلم, knowledge. So a person whose body is strong تكون معينا لصاحبها على طاعة الله. That will help you for the obedience of Allah. It will help you for the preservation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the Salaf you say, من عرف الله في الرخاء عرف في الشدة. When you remember Allah in times of ease, you'll be recognized and assisted in the times of difficult. So we shouldn't wait for things to happen. We need to start preparing. Apocalypse series was a guideline to this prepping, which we started in June. Now a person should consider how much time has passed, how much preparation have I made. Is it just sami'na wa asayna? I'm listening, I'm just hearing, I'm supposedly benefiting, but I'm not prepping, I'm not doing the activities, the practical application. So we need to prepare, and we're saying prepare for full-scale rioting, full-scale looting, full-scale war, full-scale nuclear fallout, full-scale nuclear winter. This is serious. The list is endless, which we discuss. There's no time to be in the comfort zone. There's no time to be relaxed. There's no time to take it easy. Whether we've brainstormed of alternate energy options, from a major generator that can run you completely. So where do you get the fuel? Where do you get the diesel? To solar powered stations, to your generators. If you had to run, do you have parts? Can you service it? Can you maintain it? To mini power stations, do you have solar panels to power these mini stations? You've got solar chargers for your phones, etc. You've got cranking power generators. To water, do you have boreholes? Do your boreholes have solar pumps? If your pump does give up, you got no water. What's your backup? Do you have a manual system? Or the grid goes down. What's your next best? What's your food storage, safety and security? What activities have you planned in case of all of this here for the safety and security? Do you have any first aid skills, firefighting skills, freeze-dried food, canned foods, bug-out bags? The list goes on and on and on. Have I studied? Have I practiced? Have I practically applied all these hidayat and guidance? Or we just carry on life as normal? I've got my job, I've got my business, I've got my work, I need to earn. And Razi is my only preoccupation currently now, and not even necessity but luxury. So what's the best thing to do? A believer has made all out efforts to find out, and not only find out, but it's a execution. There was a man who went to a psychiatrist. First month, second month, 1 year, 2 years down the line, 3 years, he got fed up. He never was cured. What problem he had? The fear of monsters lurking under his bed. So he thought it's a waste of money, useless. And one day in a restaurant, the psychiatrist bumped into him. So he was beaming, he was happy, he was thrilled. So the psychiatrist, you are ashamed, still must be suffering, I apologize, I tried my best, I done whatever research, I consulted. He said, no, I sleep peacefully, I'm fine, everything's good. So he was shocked. How did that happen? He said, no, I looked for a different doctor, a behaviorist. I went for one session and I was cured. So psychiatrist now was even more shocked and baffled. How did this happen? What methods? How did he solve the problem? He said, very simple. After hearing my case, he gave me instructions to saw the legs off my bed. So the legs of my bed. Problem solved. So even information, what information we get in, what we are applying, how much research we are doing, don't take things for face value. Don't believe everything you hear. Investigate, find experts, find the best experts. So when things go down, you're on your own. La ilaha illallah. Inna Allah ma'ana. It's you and your Allah. So what a person has exhausted, that's what we need to see. That I can be consoled that the decision I've made is a well-researched decision. We had brainstormed all the options. We had found the best experts. We have narrowed it down. So you're on your own. A man who had suicidal tendency, again to his psychiatrist and told him his problem, and he said, I have an urge to kill myself. So as he said that, the psychiatrist said, you know what, you need to give me your fees in advance. I need advance fees. So even in that situation, you're supposed to be helping people, but it's all about the money. So we have to look out for some red lights. What things are happening globally. Belarus has started placing landmines in their borders. Just on their borders, they are applying landmines. So this is a defensive maneuver. What are they worried about? A General Dmitry from Russia is saying the 4 horsemen from the apocalypse are on their way. We cannot rule out the prospect of war, and we will have to strike decision-making centers. What's the decision-making centers? Maybe NATO. Where's the headquarters of NATO? Where's the headquarters of the entity behind it, the White House? They've planned over 100 military exercises, from the Satan missile systems to hypersonic re-entry systems. Now, the US have promised around 9 billion in weapons, the IMAR rocket launch systems. And now Ukraine has been enriched with long-range missiles. So while Russia wait for it to happen, are they planning to retaliate? What the Ukrainians are saying, that Kiev may strike Crimea. So they say we're going to go all overnight. First they were saying no, there's no need to attack, there's no need to do this here. Then overnight they're saying that Crimea is ours, we will fight for it. Red lights. Benny Gantz, Defense Minister of Israel, is in India. They've got 30 years of bilateral ties, military cooperation. Now they've signed a LOI for defense research. So 2017, Modi was the first ever Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel. So in our comfort zone, we're not seeing the red lights, just taking it easy. Risk will fall from the sky, aid will fall from the sky. Yes, the mutawakkilin, those who have taluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah's help is definitely with them. So, did we make effort on our yaqeen, in our tawakkul, in the amal at a given time? Likewise, asbab-wise, وَعِدُّ لَهُمْ مَسْتَطَعَتُمْ. Prepare. And why the need for double standards? The USA who lambasted MBS and Saudi and their policies, and the incident with Jamal Khashoggi, and what were they going to do? Now suddenly Biden's calling, and MBS is not answering his calls. So what he's doing, he's planning to go down. Why? Because the oil crisis. Why? Because Saudi is the head of the Middle East. They set a standard. Why? Because they need OPEC. So a U-turn on Saudi policy. There was a truce. Now suddenly MBS is praised by Biden. He's a courageous leader and there's a truce in UN and he's promoting peace. Double standards. Pakistan, Imran Khan, charges are being laid against him. Treason. So, is Pakistan possibly can go into a civil war? So economies, look at the global economies are crashing. Elon Musk is saying I have a bad feeling about economies. So what's happening? Countries are falling, mounting debt, high inflation. Sri Lanka in a full-fledged crisis, full-fledged debt, foreign reserves shrinking. They're in economic free fall. Civil unrest, but it's not only one country. It's going to be Allah protect one and all. As the movement goes, it becomes a dominoes. So you got food crisis, you got oil crisis, you got natural resources crisis, you got important components. 107 economies on the brink of collapse. So supply chains are already disrupted. Egypt, which imports wheat, they don't have stocks for more than 3 months. Tunisia, civil unrest. Lebanon, food up 11 times. Currency, 90% of the value lost. The grain storage destroyed. They've just taken a loan, $150 million from the World Bank. Argentina has defaulted 9 times. They want a $45 billion loan from the World Bank. Kenya in debt, $244 million they want from IMF. South Africa, state of collapse. Go country upon country. The US in crisis. They don't even have water. California is in a drought. They're having water cuts. So on one side, you got crisis. On the other side, prepping for war. Germany, $100 billion. They becoming a military superpower. So the Pacific Ocean is a battleground now. Whether it's China, whether it's Australia, whether it's Taiwan who's preparing for war. They're teaching civilians how to use weapons. They're ramping up their defense systems. The Prime Minister of Taiwan was seen at a military base and she had an anti-rocket. USA lawmakers are visiting Taipei. They're making collaboration. Taiwan, the National Guard, US military deployment. They're saying we're going to help you. China's doing drills. The PLA, they've sent in bomber, 30 Chinese jets past Taiwan defense zone, the airspace. Chinese is developing drone warfare. They shuffling their military brass who are familiar with battle plans with Taiwan. So again, the warning signs. Japan has signed an arrangement for advanced fighter jets. They are prepping for war. China and Russia have done drills near Japan. So these countries are prepping, neighboring towns are prepping. Finland, Sweden, how many countries are joining NATO? Turkey, they want to, is there an invasion of Syria? They want to take a buffer zone of 30 kilometers. They send the Kurdish fighters, which is an ally of the US. So they need a buffer zone. Then there's 3 million refugees in Turkey. Then in between all of this, you got the UN, who are just spectators. They're just there to assist in crime, to assist the oppression. And we can speak for hours and hours on what the UN has done, what war crimes they're sellout from 1945. What have been achieved? How can you make North Korea chair the Nuclear Disarmament Commission and give China an award for human rights, and they were praised? They got the Human Rights Award for tremendous achievements. What double standards? Just a lip service. The UN is like putting a serial rapist to protect a women's shelter. With a $3 billion budget, there's still war across the world. People are being massacred. War crimes beyond humanity. 800 million plus people still hungry in the world. Just for nothing. So, food insecurity. Prices have gone up across all sectors. Forget that. There's no fertilizers available. Henry Kissinger used to say, if you control oil, you control nations. If you control food, you control people. The Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, in a Securing Food conference, the G7 Ministers of Agriculture, is saying that the food price index has reached 160 points. That's the highest since its inception in 1990. So whether it's wheat, whether it's maize, whether it's oilseed, between Russia and Ukraine, they control it. Now there's reversed. Then from COVID, the fall back. Likewise, fertilizer, which comes from Russia, with Belarus, 40% of potash exports, 11% urea, 48% ammonium nitrate, 28% of fertilizers comes combined from those countries. Then the virus affecting chickens, so they cull in chickens. Then the president of the African Union, combined 55 member states, met with the Russian president to secure these lack of food and agricultural deficiencies, to support that. So remember when these national liberation movements began, and Europe and the US, the colonial powers were running it, then who backed? The Soviets were there to back up scholarships, education, military training. So the African Union has big ties with Russia. So from South Africa to Zimbabwe to Namibia, etc. So that's why the article in the Asia Times says that the US and NATO are involved in war militarily, economically, and it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's a drawn out war. It spells out a war on a bigger scale. And they say we'll back Ukraine until victory. So we're going all the way. And the goal, the target is to bring down Russia. So they needed a proxy for war. But obviously Russia is strong, and Ukraine is just a warm-up. Otherwise they're a superpower. So where's all this military aid coming? Almost 26 billion military aid was pledged by the US. So if we look at it, from January to May, USA 25.76%, UK 2.5%, Poland 1.62%. These are billions of dollars that have been spent already. So let's say US around 27 billion, UK around 2.5 billion, Poland 1.62, Germany 1.49, Canada 0.81, Norway, Estonia, Latvia, France. Look where all the help is coming, and you'll know where the alliance is. Put the dots together. We don't have time. We're supposed to prepare for Akhirat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq and understanding of making amal. Wa akhiru dawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.